Right, so it's time to address the elephant in the room here again, and a talking point which I thought I would never have to talk about again, or really anyone should really need to talk about again in any real serious capacity. But it's happened again. Mason Greenwood. Now, what is the purpose of this video? I think there's a valid reason for this. Mason Greenwood right now, as we currently speak, is top goal scorer in Ligue 1 for Marseille, who are, I believe, still top of the table, or at least definitely in a title race with Paris Saint-Germain. And in talking points for the England national team, he's still holding out hope that he could still be playing for England in the future. Talking in interviews that he's obsessed with still the idea and the hope that he could maybe one day play for England. And despite the conversation about I believe his father is of Jamaican descent, that he actually got a Jamaican passport, that he could play for the Jamaican national team, he's still snubbed them, despite that he could still play for Jamaica and play international football if he so wishes. He still wants to play for England. And the reason why this is become a talking point is because clearly if you're looking at the quality of English forwards, strikers right now is current moment, behind Harry Kane, there's really not much behind him. There's quite a vast gap between Harry Kane and other England forwards. I think as we speak, Callum Wilson is like the second highest for goals scored at this current moment in time, or maybe Ivan Toney or something. It's not great. Like, Ollie Watkins isn't on it, Ivan Toney's in Saudi, Jamie Vardy, but he's been out of the cosh for a long time now. There's not an obvious backup to Harry Kane, and due to Mason Greenwood making waves and bouncing back on his career in a better way than any of us would have really imagined, is now causing some conversations. Gareth Southgate, of course, came out saying that he would never play for England again, which I think we all agree with, and Tuchel is still being asked questions about Mason Greenwood, and as it stands, he says he's not currently in his thoughts, he's not in his plans. I don't think it is hard to tell that there's a difference between categorically he's never playing for England again and he's not in my plans. That could change quite easily, and there's an open door there. So this leads to this conversation now. Mason Greenwood, what the hell do we do with this situation? Now, the reason why I think it's worth talking about, mainly because when you look online, it's still the same nonsense. It's still the same kids from wherever they are in the world talking in a way which I find absolutely abhorrent. And they speak about second chances, and I think second chances, in my opinion, for Mason Greenwood is the fact that he's not even in prison, or he's the fact he's even able to play football. That in itself is a second chance and a half. The fact that he's still seen as a role model to kids is incredible. How is he still put in a situation? It's almost like he's going against the kind of the woke nonsense, and he's seen as some kind of figure to go against that kind of movement. He's almost like the Andrew Tate of footballers in a way. My only response to when I hear about this conversation online about Mason Greenwood, about is it almost becoming too hard to ignore and second chances, and maybe like, his football ability, like, oh well, his partner's forgiven him, so why can't we? My only response to that is, we all heard the audio. People may say that the images, videos, whatever that she put out that night is fake or doctored. I'm absolutely assured that they're not, but let's just say they are. Maybe there's a chance they could be. I don't believe they are. But what about the audio? People are saying that's fake and that's doctored. You must be out of your goddamn mind. In my opinion, no one that behaves like that should be someone that is seen as a role model to children. And you may say, well, there's many footballers, there's many athletes that does wrong as well in the past. We all know the infamous Las Vegas Cristiano Ronaldo incident that happened back in 2008 that still gets brought up to this day. You may say, well, what about Thomas Partey? Thomas Partey had severe accusations, multiple to be fair, but the issue is, because there was no proof that came out of these accusations, he still was able to play football and pretend like nothing happened. And that's the saddest part. If this was an accusation put to the police and there was no videos and no evidence put out that night, Mason Greenwood would still be playing for Manchester United or a very high level to this day. If the accusations came out with no footage, no evidence of any kind, it'd be the exact same situation as Thomas Partey, where he's seen as an asset which we cannot risk losing. He's too good to lose for the team, and that's unfortunately how football works and how sports works. It's even worse over in America. I saw a TikTok which involved quite a lot of people in the, I guess, that kind of community talking about Mason Greenwood, saying, Jesus Christ, okay, this is on the topic of bringing Greenwood back to the England squad, saying, I'll bring him up 100%, who cares about his personal life, we all make mistakes as teenagers, Professional athletes make way worse mistakes in America and it doesn't ruin their careers. I guess the English think they are better than everyone else. I kind of don't get the idea that the idea of being better than everyone else is not venomously attacking your partner and punching them in the face and trying to sexually assault them. That's not really in my mind, to be fair. Someone said Zuma kicked his cat and was still West Ham's captain for a season as he separated the person from the player. He easily starts for England over Saka as he's just better. My guy compared kicking a cat, which is still not great by any means. It's still a really awful thing to do, but he still compared kicking a cat to what Mason Greenwood did to his partner. I think we all know the word and the accusations of it. That's just absolutely obscene. Someone commented saying, what did he do? Almost stunned, thinking that he's not aware of what's happened, but let's say he doesn't actually have any idea because it was a while ago. And someone said, if he was white, the English media wasn't gonna bash him the way he's being bashed right now, and that's a fact. And I saw that and I felt like I had to do this video because there's now people in this world, living, breathing humans, that thinks this is any involvement to do with race. How fucking dense do you have to be to think that race is involved in this situation? It's scary. It's truly scary to me that this is even brought up. The idea that, I've said this before on a few videos of mine on the topic of racism, but if you claim things to be racist when race is not a factor, then it actually diminishes real racism. It diminishes it. You can't bring it up in every single possible situation because it will neuter it. It will almost water down the real accusations if there's so many of it. This is nothing to do with race, and that has to be abundantly clear. It's about actual character, personality, acts of violence, what you do to other human beings. Again, I need to insist, you may believe the images or the video is fake. The audio definitely isn't fake, and we've all heard the audio. If you want to listen to it back, feel free. Look, I think bringing Mason Greenwood back into the England national team would be an absolute travesty for anything that the England national team is meant to stand for, and for that reason he will never be brought back. With England, want to be a lot more, you may say, quote unquote progressive, but I think just being normal, nice people to an extent, being inclusive is now being used as some kind of tagline now, which is seen as a bad thing. They of course promote their women's, the Lionesses, the national team, massively. What kind of example would that set? What kind of example would it set to people, to young children, that's saying, well, you can beat up your partner and try to sexually assault them, but hey, if you're really good at kicking the ball, then we'll kind of forget about that part. What kind of standard does that set to people and to young kids? That's why, for me, I'm always going to be against this idea. I don't care if he's Lionel Messi. As a moral issue, he stands no place, even for me, of even being near top level football. But he is, because people, they prioritize results and money above morality, which is fine. It's just not how I would do things. But he's scoring goals in Ligue 1, and Marseille, hey, they may go on and win the Ligue 1 this year, and congratulations, and he'd be a big part of that. But there's always that conversation, there's always that thing in the back of your mind at all times that let's just try to avoid that thing, and it will just become draining. Do I feel bad for Mason Greenwood? No, I don't. I don't feel bad for someone who treat anyone in that way at any part of their life. Never mind when they are still an adult. People say that, oh, he's young. He's not 12. He was an adult man behaving in that manner. I feel no sympathy for him, and I think he's probably quite well aware of that situation as well. And he could try all he wants, but he's a nuclear bomb compared to any other footballer in being involved with the England national team, or really any team, especially in England. You're acting like saints. He deserves a shot at redemption. I don't know what acting like saints even is supposed to mean. Like, yes, I'm better than him morally because I don't beat up my partner. Yes, I'm very sure of that. Also, one key thing to highlight here, a commentator saying he was not guilty. Important clarification here. Yeah, you are correct. He was not guilty. He actually was nothing. It was dropped. The case was dropped by the partner involved. For the reasons of that, we don't fully know the reasons because it wasn't clarified in public. People can make their own decisions. People may say that she stayed with him for money or for the sake of their relationship or pressure from the outside sources, parents or whatever else. You can make up your own situations on that, or why you think they stayed together. But very important clarification, Mason Green was never found not guilty. The case was just simply dropped by his partner, and that's all we can take from it. What kind of people are you that never forgive a young boy boy. He was not a young boy. He was an adult man. He was not 10 years old. Jesus Christ, how dense are you people? I really hope none of you have any mothers or sisters or friends. I really hope not. I really hope not, because this is just obscene. Again, I see if he was white, the situation would be different, could be playing for England. Why is race brought into this? This kind of victim mentality. It's just actually sad. So yeah, this is the Mason Greenwood video, because the thing is, he's playing League and he's kind of back to his form. You know, he's doing really well. I don't hate him, by the way. I just want to make that kind of clear. I don't like I hate him. I despise a lot of the talks around him, which is skewed in a very bad way. Like, if his partner, I don't think they're even together still. I don't even know. I know they had a child. So people are saying that, oh well, if she's had a kid with him, then yeah, we can forgive him now. No, if you see someone do something absolutely abhorrent, that doesn't make it completely fine if that person forgives him. In my opinion, you may say, oh, why am I involved? I am involved in some way, and so are you, because it's based on what kind of people would you want in your sports and people to represent you on a national level, your club level. If you're a United fan, did you want him to represent your club? You may say, oh, he may score goals. Yeah, but he also beats his misses. You want to cheer his name and celebrate him? Be my guest, my friend. But yeah, this is a Mason Greenwood situation, and I, honest to God, because of the stress for the England national team as a number 9 behind Harry Kane, I honestly could see a world where this could become a much more bigger talking point and pressure for him to be called up for the national team. And if that does keep coming up, the door would eventually be opened at some point. And when that day comes, God bless our soul. So I'll see you boys next time. See ya.